floor. Then I see you, you're walking across the campus, cool professor studying romances. How am I supposed to pretend I never want to see you again? How am I supposed to pretend I never want to see you again?
Good morning, professors all, or good evening, depending on your time, place. Anyways, my name is Hannah. I am 19 years old and I am applying for the Dramatic Arts program at Brock University, as I'm sure you already know. So, here are a couple things that I have done with my life. Number one, I did a skit at my grade 8 graduation. I got to be a teacher and I got to yell at students. It was great fun. I didn't have very many lines, but what I did have, I delivered with forcefulness and exuberance. It was great. Number two, I did a lot of skits and scenes and stuff in English and in French class. In French, we often had to write our own scenes and then act them out for our teacher. And in English class, you know, the usual Shakespeare, Dickens, and all that jazz. Three, in my studies in literature class, we had a project where we had to rewrite the story The Bride Comes to the Yellow Sky by Stephen Crane, and my group did it as Star Wars, and then we acted it out. It was fantastic. I got to be a Han Solo, so that was pretty good. Number four, at our school we had a Christmas banquet, and at this Christmas banquet we had Kangaroo Court. Now, if you don't know what Kangaroo Court is, basically, in the first 6 or whatever months of school, if people have done weird, strange, and wonderful things, they get their name put into the Kangaroo Court suggestion box, and then the judges will think out suitable punishments for them too. So I was part of that in my last year of high school, and our theme was superheroes, and I got to be Captain America, which was pretty fantastic. It was good. I had a good costume. It was great. Another thing I did at that banquet was with a couple of friends of mine, we performed the parrot sketch from Monty Python. I got to be the poor owner of the very much deceased parrot. So that was a load of fun. I did that. Also at the end of grade 12, number 5, my friend and I introduced our valedictorian at her graduation. And we had to write a speech and then get up in front of a million people and their families and introduce our valedictorian. So that was good. And finally, number 6, which is probably the least exciting bit of this. I was the vice president and president of our yearbook. So that entailed getting pages done and getting after people and being basically extremely creative with laying out pages. So those are sort of things I've done. Now for some random skills that I have. Yay, random skills. Number 1, I'm a very enthusiastic speaker, in case you hadn't noticed. I am lots of hand gestures and all over the place. I've done so many presentations in high school, from presentations in family studies on birth control to Dr. Seuss books. It was a good class. That was a good presentation. Come to think of it. So anyways, so that's number 1. Number 2, I can sew. My mother taught me how to sew, and so I have made various items of clothing, not this dress, but other dresses. I have done that, so I can do that. Number 3, I play piano. I am mainly self-taught, though I was taught how to read music and such things by my mother and later by my sister. But other than that, self-taught. I play lots of things, ranging from Chopin and Bach to Gershwin, so that's a big range. And lastly, number 5, I write a lot, so lots of stories, poetry occasionally, just lots of creative writing. I really enjoy that. So those are random skills that I have. Just an incredibly random point that probably doesn't have much say in this. I live in Scotland. Scotland, that's Scotland right there. That's Scotland. So that's exciting. I moved here last March and have been living here since, obviously. And yeah, so that's exciting times. Not really sure what that has to do with this, but I feel like it's a part of me that should be shared. I work at an outdoors centre. I work in the kitchen, doing lots of kitcheny things like cooking food for millions of people. Not actually, it's like 60 people, but that's a lot of people. So how this works with our evenings is every night we have a sort of introduction chat to the guests. And so oftentimes, most of the time really, you have to be happy when you're really not happy, or happy when you're really tired. So, you know, acting, it's pretty good. And also at this centre, we have an evening programme that we do with the primary school kids called Explore, and in that there's oftentimes a drama, and so we have to help out with that, and just sort of lead the kids in acting and do the narration and all of that. So that's part of what I do here. Yeah, and it's in Scotland. I mean, who doesn't want to be in Scotland, right? Right, so a little bit about me. All my life, I have loved stories. I've been raised reading Tolkien and Lewis and all other classic people. And so I've written stories of my own. I've grown up watching tons of films. But it wasn't really until high school that I started really looking into the film and theatre sort of industry. And I liked the way that the story is a bit of everybody. Like, it's a different type of storytelling. You've got the actors who sort of play the part, and the music that sets the mood, and the sets that sort of make the scene more believable, and the costume design tells a story, and the lighting tells a story. And so it all becomes the work of many people as a person. And I don't know, that just sort of really appeals to me. So I don't really know where I fit into all of this, but I do think that I do belong in this sort of theatre world, and I do think that Brock is the place for me. I think I will benefit greatly from all the teaching and all the learning I will do here, and I think that I'm a good fit for Brock University. So that's me. Thank you for watching. See you later.
On the floor, then I see you. You're walking across the campus. Cool professor studying romances.